Well, good afternoon and welcome into Varsity Sports Nation here on this beautiful Sunday evening on April 12th, 2026 here in Winter Garden, Florida at Raymond Screws Field on the campus of West Orange High School. My name is Conrad Volch. We've got ourselves a Week 8 matchup featuring the Florida Wave and the Knights of Central Florida. Knights of Central Florida coming to this matchup 5-2 on the season, breaking a 2-game skid in their victory last week against the Gulf Coast Sun Devils. And the Florida Wave come into this matchup 4-2 on the season. Starting the season 1-2, winning their last 3, outscoring opponents 142-21. Coin toss has been had. The Knights have won the toss. They have deferred to the second half, so the Florida Wave will get their chance to start things off here in the game. Short kick to begin things, and it was first touched by one of the Wave players. It looks like that was Keon Cummings, but it safely goes out of bounds, and it will be Wave ball to start the first quarter. Wave is in the powder blue pants with black and powder blue numbers and gold helmets. And the Knights of Central Florida are in the white pants with kind of a burnt orange color jersey with white numbers and white helmets with the logo on the side. And both these teams coming in with winning records. Florida Wave 4-2, Knights of Central Florida 5-2. And the Wave will get things started from their own about 40-yard line here in the first quarter. Handed off to number 22 of the Wave. That's Darian Alderman.
Alderman on the carry. Tackled by number 25, Rashard Hickman. Gain of 1. Second down and 9.
So 2nd and 9. From the 41-yard line for the Wave. Quick handoff. Alderman again up to about the 43-yard line. Gain of about 3.
Alderman on the carry. Tackled by 54, Jermaine Jackson.
Jermaine Jackson makes the tackle for the Knights of Central Florida. Brings up a 3rd and long. In line to gain is right around the 50-yard line. And wind is going to be up and down today. Sunny skies, but the wind we'll see how much of a factor that plays. And this time QB keeper rolling to his right, is going to chuck it downfield as a man wide open, and he caught it right at the 15-yard line. Demir Blakely, and that's a first down.
From Williams to Sorry Blakely. First down for the Wave.
Nazavius Williams on the throw.
Knights 15-yard line.
So ball is spotted at the 15. It's about a 40-yard pass and catch there. And that'll get you going if you're the Wave. Again, 142-21. They've outscored their opponents in their last 3 games. And those 21 points were in 1 game. Alderman on the carry. Flag is down.
Alderman on the carry. Flag on the play. Tackle made by 16, Marcus Bates.
So Marcus Bates gets in on the tackle. And we're going to have a false start on the Wave.
False start called on the offense.
So first penalty of the game is going to go against the Wave. Coming to us from St. Petersburg, Florida.
On the 20-yard line. First down and 15 for the Wave.
So first and 15 from the 20-yard line, still in the red zone. In line to gain is the 5. Williams steps up. He'll trickle his way up to the 20, skips a man down to the 15, 10, up to the 5, still going, and just out of bounds at the 1. Man, he had some jets on that one. So Willie Jenkins on the defense. So 14 yards on the carry for Williams, and it's first and goal from the 1.
First and goal on the 1-yard line.
And movement up front. It's going to be another false start on the Wave.
False start called on the offense.
So back it up to the 6-yard line for the Wave. And so far, when the Wave get a penalty, they get a first down. So, you saw the false start a couple plays ago. They got the first down out of the 1. Now it's first and goal from the 6. Can they get in the end zone here? Hand off to Alderman. It's been him and Williams on the offense. Alderman still going, and he punches it in for a Wave touchdown. 6-0. Wave. So they got the false start to back it up to the 20-yard line with to the 15-yard line, 14-yard run by Sorry Blakely, put it down to the 1. Then they had the false start. Last play, and just that quickly, a run by Alderman into the end zone who would not be denied. And this will set up the 1-point try from the 10. And Santiago Tovar will line up, low snap, and that kick is blocked. It's going to be fielded by the Knights of Central Florida. Looks like that was fielded there by Devon Pitter. But the Wave able to bring down the guy that blocks it. So our score will remain 6-0. Well, we'll take a quick break. Florida Wave showing their offense flexing here. But we'll take a quick break and return here on Varsity Sports Nation. Knights of Central Florida will get their chance on offense. Welcome back into Varsity Sports Nation here in Winter Garden, Florida. My name is Conrad Volch. And if you're just joining us, Florida Wave start from their own 40, take it the distance, and they lead 6-0 off of a 6-yard touchdown rush by Darren Alderman. And they will kick things off. Tovar, big leg. With the Wave kicker, knocks it all the way back down to the 6-yard line. That is where the Knights of Central Florida will try and run it back. This is Mario Johnson, and he's got a big run crossing across the 45, and he'll be dragged down to about the 49-yard line. Brought down there by Michael Barnett. Excuse me, wrong guy. Quentin Souter of the Wave.
To the Knights' 48-yard line. First and 10. For the Knights.
So first and 10, they'll mark it at the 48-yard line. 10:38 remaining here in this first quarter. So we'll see what the Knights got up their sleeve to start their first drive. Quick handoff. Not a whole lot to go there. Little to no gain on the carry. That was Marquise Hargrove on the carry.
Marquise Hargrove on the carry. No gain on the play. Second down and 10.
Got the opportunity to talk to Coach Dwight Gifford of this Knights squad, and said the biggest thing that was the difference in last week's game in the win was coming together and fighting the good fight to win the game. He said between Johnson and Hendricks, they really were the vocal leaders on this team, saying, hey, we're willing to play both sides. We don't care. We just want to get things going and be on the right push towards the end of the season. He also mentioned that you got to keep the QB contained of Williams. And as we saw in that first drive with the wave, Nazavius Williams is a guy that once he gets in space, he's got a great arm and fast legs. Third and about 3 here, and we'll see where they mark it. It's going to be very close to a first down here for the Knights of Central Florida. And they're going to say he got enough. So Hargrove needed 2. He got 2. And that's a Knights first down. The Knights started this season 4-0 on the year. They've gone 1-2 their last 3 games. Again, their win that they picked up against the Gulf Coast Sun Devils last Saturday broke that 2-game losing streak. This is going to be a quarterback keeper by Rashad Hendricks.
Rashad Hendricks on the carry.
He'll take that about a 15-yard run, and that'll be a Knights first down up to about the 29-yard line of the Florida Wave.
For the Knights on the Wave, 29-yard line.
And this is 2 different leagues being represented within UFLX. Knights of Central Florida out of the extreme side and the Florida Wave outside of the universal side. Quick pass down the sideline and in and out of the hands there of Alex Abney Jr.
Pass incomplete, intended for Abney.
Rashard Hendricks thought he had a man. Didn't quite throw it into coverage, but it was close. So that'll stop the clock with 7:45 to play here in the first quarter. So second down and 10 here for the Knights of Central Florida. 2 receivers out to the left and to the right. Hendricks will take it himself, running it towards the right, tries to cut it back up the middle, and he'll be stopped right around the 26-yard line.
Hendricks on the carry, gain of 2.
So about 2 yards on the gain there.
Correction, gain of 3 to the 26-yard line.
So they'll spot the ball at the 26-yard line. Line to gain is the 20. Or the line to gain is the 19, excuse me. So that'll bring up third down and 7. And the Knights trying to get something established here, trying to answer that touchdown drive that the Wave had last drive. Hendricks takes it himself again, gets loose, and he'll pick up a first down. Stepped out of bounds right around the 10. We'll see where they mark it. Looks like it's going to be right around the 14.
For another Knights first down.
So mark it at the 14.
First and 10 for the
So
Knights.
both of these offenses
14-yard line.
have done the job on the ground. And it looks like we have a officials timeout on the field. And not sure what the officials timeout was for, but was not very long. So that'll move the clock as we tick down to about 6:09 to play here in the first quarter. So first and 10 from the 14 for the Knights of Central Florida. Wave lead this 6-0. And we're going to have another clock stoppage. That's going to be timeout. Knights of Central Florida, that'll be their first called here in the first half. They'll have 2 remaining. We'll take it with them here on Varsity Sports Nation as the Knights trying to get organized here. 5:43 to play when we return. Welcome back into Varsity Sports Nation here in Winter Garden, Florida, on the campus of West Orange High School. Out of the timeout taken by the Knights of Central Florida. 5:43 to play here in the first quarter. They'll keep this on the ground. Flag comes flying in. And running back Mario Johnson tackled right around the 15. We'll see what the penalty is. It's going to be on the offense. It's going to be holding. So that'll back them up 10 yards to about the 24-yard line. So we saw this with the Florida Wave. Now we're seeing it with the Knights of Central Florida. When these teams get in the red zone, that's when the penalties start coming up. So make it 1st and 20 from the 24. What we saw from the Wave when they committed a penalty is they would get a first down the very next play. We'll see if that's the theme here for the Knights of Central Florida here on this drive. 5:15 to play. And the quarterback keeper trying to get free. Gets up to the 10, right around the 9. That's Rashard Hendricks putting the team on his back. So about a 14-yard carry on 1st and 20. This will bring up 2nd and medium here. About 2nd and 5, 2nd and 6. Here for the Knights of Central Florida. Check that. They'll mark it at the 9. So 15 yards on the carry for Rashard Hendricks. Line to gain is the 4. Now a receiver wide down to the left. 2 runners in the backfield. And they'll hand it off to their big man. He gains a couple here. Looks like it was Ricky Rogers on the carry, big number 34. Gain of about, I'd say 1.
Gain of 1 on the play.
It's up to about the 8-yard line here for the Knights of Central Florida. So 3rd down and 4. Hendricks tosses it, caught, and he hauls it in. It's a touchdown. What a grab. That was hauled in there by KJ Thompson, number 2. Late flag. And we'll see what the penalty marker is, as we've got an injured Knight on the field. But it looks like the flag came in after the fact, so the touchdown should stand. But as the injured Knight gets up off the turf, and that was Ricky Rogers, who just had that carry a couple of plays ago. So again, we're waiting to see if the touchdown counts here, because again, the flag came in after KJ Thompson caught the pass. So we'll see what comes out of this. So the 15-yard, the penalty, I believe, was maybe for unsportsmanlike. I'm not sure. So this will be tossed across the middle, and that's into the end zone. So that'll be the 2-point conversion. So the penalty was for unsportsmanlike. So that'll be caught by Calvin Brown Jr. So the Knights, doesn't matter what the penalty is, they get it in the end zone and they take their first lead. They lead 8-6 here with 3:30 remaining in the first quarter. And the Wave will line up and wait for the kickoff here. This will be Jake Lemieux, number 22, setting up to kick off from the 35. And again, when you get penalties assessed after a score, the opposing team can either enforce it on the kickoff or enforce it on the point after try. Wave said we'll have it enforced on the 2-point conversion. And for the Wave, it didn't really matter. Or excuse me, for the Knights of Central Florida, it didn't really matter, as we've got a late flag here on the kickoff, as Jalen Ben came flying in to try and cover that kick. I think it's going to be, not sure what it's going to be for. But it looks like it's going to be on the Knights of Central Florida. Maybe for illegal touching, or I'm not sure. And waiting for the white hat to let the public know what the call is. So the ball will be spotted at the 40.
1st and 10 for the Wave on their own 40-yard line.
So I'm wondering if it was just a simple sideline warning. Meanwhile, the Wave, quick toss to the running back. This is Sanchez Maltzby Jr.
Toss to number 5, Maltzby Jr.
And he's listed as a wide receiver, so a quick little end around there for the Wave.
Gain of 3 yards.
Gain of 3 on the end around. Bring up 2nd down and 7 from the 43 here for the Wave. And Wave scored on their first drive. And that's another different person to touch the ball. We've only really seen Nazavius Williams, saw Sorey Blakely on that deep grab, and then Darren Alderman carrying the load from the running back position here for the Wave. And this time, Williams throws it across the middle. It's caught right around the 45. Foot race up to the 30, and he's still on his feet. That's Victor Rentas. Will barrel his way down to the Knights of Central Florida 28-yard line. So 1st and 10 for the Wave, and we've got a timeout. Knights of Central Florida, that'll be their 2nd of the first half. They'll have 1 remaining. Knights trying to get organized here as the Florida Wave are on the move. We'll take a quick break here on Varsity Sports Nation. 8-6 is your score. Knights of Central Florida over the Florida Wave. Welcome back into Varsity Sports Nation. 2:07 left here in the first quarter. Out of the timeout taken by the Knights of Central Florida. Florida Wave handed off to Alderman. He'll pick up about 3 yards up to the 25-yard line. Brings up 2nd and 7.
Alderman on the carry.
Alderman has the touchdown. Rush of 6 yards on their last drive.
3rd down, ball spotted at the 25-yard line. Correction, 2nd down.
So 2nd down and 7 from the 25. Clock continues to move. 1:24 to play here in this first quarter. Wave trying to retake the lead. Hand off to Alderman again, runs into a mess. And that's a host of Knights that bring him down. Coming out of that mess, flexing.
Tackle for loss. Number 7, Jalen Ben.
As Jalen Ben leads the brigade on the defense there. Again, 2 very powerful offenses going against each other today. See if the Wave should be able to get 1 more playoff here. As we're down to 36 seconds to play here in this first quarter. 3rd down and 9, loss of 2 on that last play. Wave got quads down on the far right side. They'll motion a man, and we've got a flag down. Stop the clock with about 20 seconds to play. False start on the Wave. But as we saw in their previous drive, they got 2 false starts. One time they got a first down, the second time they got a touchdown, and that looks like it'll be the final play of the first quarter as we're down to under 6 seconds to go. Down to 3, 2, and 1, and that is the end of the first quarter. Both teams have possessed the ball once. Wave on their second drive. Knights of Central Florida lead 8-6. We are just getting started here in the land of Winter Garden, Florida. We'll bring you the second quarter when we return here on Varsity Sports Nation. We've reached the second quarter here on Varsity Sports Nation here in Winter Garden, Florida. Knights of Central Florida leading the Florida Wave 8-6. Both teams scoring a touchdown. Knights of Central Florida able to convert on the two-point conversion, as this will be taken here by Williams. Flag is down, and he gets swallowed up by a couple of defensive linemen, as that was number 50 of Alex Jones and number 54 of Jermaine Jackson.
Sacked on the play. Penalty flag.
Looks like it's going to be on the offense. So the penalty is declined. So the Wave unable to convert. This will be a fourth down from about the 38-yard line. Line to gain is the 18. So 4th and 20 here. They'll bring out their kicker, Santiago Tovar is the punter. This will be the first punt of the game for either team. They'll go do a quick snap here. And good punt here by Tovar. It's going to roll down right around the 10, and that is where they're going to spot it.
Punt goes out of bounds at the 10-yard line.
Florida Wave using a shield style of a look for the punt team. And you mostly see the shield in college. Not too often for the semi-pro or even the pro level. But whatever you can do to give your punter some time, you'll do it. So 1st and 10 from the 10-yard line here for the Knights of Central Florida. They'll QB carry up to the 20, across the 25, drug down to about the 26.
Shard Hendricks on the carry across the 25 to the 27-yard line. That's enough for Knights. First down.
So QB keeper for Rashad Hendricks, and he'll pick up a first down. Both these quarterbacks can run it on command, whether it's Nazavius Williams for the Wave or Rashard Hendricks of the Knights of Central Florida. Wide doubles here. Hendricks will take it himself up the middle. He's got some space across the 40. He'll be dragged down right around the 45. He's brought down by Quentin Souter. And that's another first down for the Knights of Central Florida.
1st and 10 for the Knights on the 46-yard line.
Got the opportunity to talk to Coach Safari McElroy, who's the head coach today for the Wave. And he said, biggest thing that's been the difference in their 3-game winning streak is chemistry and guys competing every day. also holding each other accountable as the defense swarms in to make the tackle on Rashard Hendricks.
Hendricks on the carry, gain of 1. Tackle by 37, Robinson. Correction, no gain on the play.
Xavier Robinson on the tackle. So second out and 10 from the 46-yard line for the Knights of Central Florida. Under 12 minutes to play here in the second quarter. Quick handoff. Again, met by a swarm of Wave defenders, and the ball might have come out at the end of this. Bunch of Wave players are pointing the other direction, but they're going to say the running back was down by contact. So Knights of Central Florida catch a huge break there and prevent the Wave from getting the football back. So third down and 8 from the 48-yard line of the Knights of Central Florida. They need the Wave 44 for a first down. And we've got a timeout. So the Knights of Central Florida call their third and final timeout of the first half. They are out of timeouts. The Wave have all 3 of theirs. So clock will stop with 10:52 left here in the second quarter. We'll take it with them as the Knights trying to add to their lead here in Winter Garden. Back here out of the Knights of Central Florida timeout. Third down and about 7. As Hendricks in trouble, and he'll be sacked in the backfield. Coming in to blow that play up is number 17 of the Wave.
Hendricks sacked on the play.
So fourth and long, and the Knights will be forced to punt here from the 35. So Jake Lemieux trots out onto the field to punt this thing away.
Jake Lemieux on the punt.
And Lemieux gets the kickoff. It's going to be a shorter kick, and it will take a Knights of Central Florida bounce up to about the Wave 32-yard line. That is where it will be downed by Jordan Spoonhauer. And that is where the Wave will start their third drive. So we've seen both teams start their first drives with a touchdown, and both teams get their second drive having to punt it away. And the only difference in this game is the Knights of Central Florida were able to cash in on a 2-point conversion, and it came off of a 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct penalty after the touchdown, but it didn't matter. So the Wave will start things off 1st and 10 from the 32-yard line. Williams in at quarterback. Alderman back there They're going to try the little end-around action this time by Benny Thurman III. And he gets up to about the 35. And we'll see where they spot it. They'll spot it at the 33. So actually only about a 1-yard gain on the end around. And we've got a timeout wave, I guess. So on the far judge, standing by the Florida Wave sideline, wave his hands to stop the clock. So the clock is stopped with 9:28 to play here in the second quarter. So the Wave will burn their first time out of the first half. And the Knights have used all 3 of theirs. They used their 2 of their 3 in the first quarter. So just got word the running back is Zamir McNeil, not Alderman. He's wearing a different number today. Apologies for that. Normally he wears number 27 for the Wave.
Snap penalty, false start, called on the offense.
So McNeil was the one that had that 6-yard touchdown rush earlier.
Ball spotted at the 28-yard line.
So ball will be spotted at the 28-yard line off the false start. So Wave with 2 receivers to the left and the right. McNeil in the backfield, and we've got a movement up front. Knights of Central Florida pointing that it's going to be a false start, and they are correct. So the Florida Wave going backwards.
Penalty. Second down and 19.
So 2nd and 19 now for the Wave. And as we mentioned earlier, running back for the Wave is Zamir McNeil, not Darren Alderman. McNeil normally wearing number 27. He is number 22 this afternoon. Williams up the middle, gets up to the 35, still on his feet to the 40, falling forward to around the 42. However, there are penalty markers in the offensive backfield.
There is a penalty flag on the play.
It's going to be an offsides on the Knights. Wait a minute. The white hat said offsides. Then the guy that's closest to the Knights side is saying holding. So we're going to have offsetting penalties repeat 2nd down.
We have a holding against the offense, offsides on the defense. Penalties will offset, replay.
So after all that, it'll be 2nd down and 19 here for the Florida Wave. 8:39 to play here in the second quarter. So 2nd and 19 here for the Wave. Quick snap. And running free is Williams, trying to find an open man. And he'll run into a couple Knights of Central Florida defenders. Little extracurriculars after the fact. Looks like we had some acting there, but pays itself off there for Spoon Hour.
Made by 59 and 5.
Also in on the tackle was, looks like number 39, I think, for Knights of Central Florida. So another penalty on the Florida Wave. It's going to be holding. So back the football up to the 19-yard line. The line to gain is the 42-yard line. Williams, short pass to McNeil. McNeil up to the 30, still on his feet to the 35, and he'll get tackled right around the 36. So picks up a lot of the penalty yardage, but cannot get to the 42.
Alderman on the catch and run.
So we'll see what the Wave decide to do here. Looks like they're going to bring their punting unit out. So Santiago Tovar will come out to punt the football. And 4th down and about 7 from the 45. Tovar will get it away. Spiraling kick, bounces around the 42, will roll its way back. Takes a favorable Wave roll and will be spotted right around the 27-yard line.
Down at the 27-yard line.
So we'll step aside real quick. 6:17 to play here between the Knights of Central Florida and the Florida Wave here in Winter Garden, here on Varsity Sports Nation. Welcome back to Varsity Sports Nation. First drive for either team resulted in touchdowns, but we've seen 3 punts combined. And that play going backwards here for the Knights of Central Florida. As Marquise Hargrove on the carry. Under 6 minutes to play here in the first half. Knights of Central Florida leading 8-6 over the Florida Wave. Knights of Central Florida. A couple close games they've played. They've won 8-0 in the week 2 against the then Orlando Jets. And they won 22-16 against the East Coast Sharks. So they've been in a couple close games this year. This will be a deep shot for the Knights of Central Florida, and it's just outside the fingertips of Mario Johnson. As Rashard Hendricks had a man, that was a house call. So clock will stop with 5:19 to play in this first half. And that's one of those plays that you wish you could pause time and go backwards and try it again. So it'll be 3rd down and about 13 here for the Knights of Central Florida. They need the 37-yard line. And we're going to have a timeout wave. This will be their 2nd timeout of the first half. They'll have 1 remaining. So we'll take it with them. 5:19 to play here in the first half. Still 8-6 Knights over the Wave. Welcome back to Varsity Sports Nation here in Winter Garden, Florida. Now the timeout taken by the Wave. 5:19 to play here in the first half. Hendricks throws it across, out of the outstretched arm of the defense. It's caught at around the 50. So after they could not quite make connection to Mario Johnson, they go to him again. They'll mark it at the Wave 48-yard line. And that'll be enough for a first down.
Knights into Florida Wave territory. 1st and 10 on the Wave 48-yard line.
So after 3 combined punts between these two teams, Knights of Central Florida trying to find the end zone before the first half is over. This will be a QB keeper by Hendricks again. Trying to dance and slither and get his way through.
Hendricks on the carry. Loss of 1 yard.
He had Marquise Hargrove as well. Loss of 1 on the play, 2nd and 11 from the 49. This time, handoff to Hargrove. Big hole up the middle. And he'll stumble his way down to about the 31, 30-yard line. Another first down for the Knights of Central Florida.
That's enough for another Knights first down.
So the Knights of Central Florida offense sputtered last drive. It has come alive here on this drive. 3:25 to play here in the second quarter. This time, Hendricks. And not too much doing there. No gain on the play. 2nd down and 10 coming up for the Knights of Central Florida. Again, the Knights cannot stop the clock for the rest of the half. The only thing that will stop it is the 2-minute warning. Florida Wave have 1 timeout remaining. Hendricks throwing it deep down the left sideline, and it's dropped. It was a potential pick by the end zone there by Quinn Souter. But there is a flag down. Looks like it's going to be on the defense. And waiting to see the confirmation of the call. Ball's going to be spotted at the, looks like the ball's going to be spotted at the 16. And no official call, but it was a penalty on the Wave defense. Hargrove taking about 5 to 6 Wave defenders with them, up to about the 11.
Hargrove on the carry.
And looks like that'll be the final play before the 2-minute warning. And it will be. So 2-minute warning here in the first half.
2 minutes.
We'll take it with them. Knights of Central Florida still leading the Wave 8 to 6. We'll be right back here on Varsity Sports Nation. Welcome back to Varsity Sports Nation. Out of the 2-minute warning, it's going to be 2nd and about 7. Here for the Knights of Central Florida. Line to gain is the 6-yard line. They'll hand it off to their big fullback. And he'll get up to around the 8-yard line, it looks like.
Rasheed Blatch on the carry.
That was big number 39 of Rasheed Blatch on the carry.
Ball spotted on the 8-yard line. 3rd down and
That
2.
was Demetrius Clark on the tackle for the Florida Wave. Minute 25 to play here in the second quarter. 3rd and a couple here for the Knights of Central Florida. And dipping down an upwards run there by Hargrove.
Hargrove on the carry.
And he's going to be short. As looks like Hargrove is hurt. And he'll get up. No, he's back down. We'll take a quick break. We've got an injured Knight on the field. We'll be right back here on Varsity Sports Nation. Here on Varsity Sports Nation. And it was Marquise Hargrove that was slow to get up. He's being helped to the sideline by a couple of his teammates. 4th and about 2. Offense staying on the field here. Shard Hendricks fakes it, takes it himself up the middle, still going. They blow it dead. But Hendricks wasn't down.
Hendricks on the carry.
I'm confused on the call here. Because from our angle up here, it looked like his knee wasn't down. But so what is the call? Was the So I guess they say his knee was down, but
down across the 5-yard line.
But they're going to say
First and goal.
But they're going to say first down. So Hendricks lining up in shotgun, or under center, excuse me. They'll hand it off to their fullback. As Rasheed Blatch takes it up, inching it closer to pay dirt. Second down and goal. 24 seconds to play and counting. And timeout wave. This will be their third and final of the first half.
Timeout called by the Wave, their third and final timeout of the half.
So 21.3 ticks to go here in the first half. Knights of Central Florida trying to get it in. Florida Wave trying to prevent any further damage. We'll be right back here on Varsity Sports Nation. We're back on Varsity Sports Nation. Out of the timeout taken by the Wave. 21.3 seconds left here in this first half. Knights of Central Florida have no timeouts. And it looks like the Knights might have had too many men on the field. Knights thought they had a touchdown on the board, but was blown dead before Rashard Hendricks ran into the end zone. They say as he was down by contact. So the referees having a discussion in the middle of the offense and defensive lines here in the middle of right around the 3-yard line. And you saw the Knights of Central Florida coaching staff trying to get somebody off the field, and it looks like it's going to be a penalty for too many men on the field for the Knights of Central Florida, so that'll back the football up to looks like the 7-yard line.
Penalty call against the offense, 5 yards. Second and goal from the 7.
So when the Knights of Central Florida had a penalty issued to them after their last touchdown, they scored on the 2-point conversion. Can they score here? Shard Hendricks back to pass, rolling to his right, is going to pull it in, and he'll be diving forward for a touchdown. No flags. And it's 14-6. Knights of Central Florida over the Florida Wave. How about that? Clock will stop with 13.6 seconds to go here in the first half.
Jake Lemieux on to kick the extra point.
So Lemieux will come out to kick the point after. As the Knights of Central Florida special teams unit trying to get organized. Kick is up and is good. However, there was a marker on the field. It's going to be they're going to call it a false start.
False start called against the offense.
So they'll replay the point after.
They'll replay the extra point attempt.
So Lemieux will trot back out onto the field. And his holder is Mario Johnson. He'll kick it from the 15-yard line, so about a 25-yard point after now. This time it's a low kick. It is up, and it is good.
And the extra point is good again for Jake Lemieux.
So add 5 more yards, it doesn't matter. Knights of Central Florida open this up. It's a 9-point lead over the Florida Wave. They've scored 15 unanswered since the Wave scored on their opening drive. And the Knights of Central Florida get the football to begin the second half. So even more momentum going into halftime. So two deep men back here for the Florida Wave. Lemieux out to kick it. Not a very deep kickoff kicker. This time he will try to kick it deep. It'll be fielded right around the 26. And trying to run it back is the Wave, and they've got a big hole. Down to the 45, 40, up to the 30. 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown Wave! There is no time left on the clock.
Touchdown return by
Quentin Souter. Oh my. Unbelievable. There are no flags. And that touchdown will count. Quentin Souter wasn't even one of the two deep men. He was the next line up for the Wave, decided to field it at the 25. It's about a 74, 75-yard kick return touchdown. Wow. So now the Wave will line up for the one-point try. Santiago Tovar trying to cut this down to 2. Tovar's kick is up, and it is good. No markers on the field.
The extra point attempt is good.
So what was a 15-6 ball game is now a 15-13 ball game, and that is how the first half will end. We've seen 2 quarters. We've got 2 more to go. We'll take about a 15-minute break here for halftime. We'll bring things back here on Varsity Sports Nation We'll be right back. Can't wait to see you. Second half coming your way.
Sports Nation. Unleash the champion within.
Welcome back to Varsity Sports Nation. It is the third quarter here between the Knights of Central Florida and the visiting Florida Wave. Once again, my name is Conrad Volch. It was an interesting and up and down first half between these two teams, but that was the first half. We've got a whole second half to determine a winner between these two organizations. As a reminder, Knights of Central Florida won the toss, They deferred it to the second half. So that'll put Santiago Tovar out there to kick back to the Knights of Central Florida. Knights of Central Florida were sporting a 15-6 lead, what they thought was going to carry them into halftime, before the 74-yard kick return touchdown, as that kick is fielded there by Jalen Ben of the Knights of Central Florida. So the team in burnt orange will start their drive
Ball spotted on the Wave.
at the Wave 49-yard line. So they'll have it in positive territory. But again, Knights of Central Florida come in at 5-2 on the season. Florida Wave 4-2 in this Week 8 bout for the UFLX. And these teams are in two different conferences. As the Knights of Central Florida will start things off with a handoff. I think that was
Ben on the carry. Tackled by number 2.
Jalen Ben just had the kick return, gets in on offense.
2 yards on the carry. Second down.
But just to remind you guys, the Knights of Central Florida in the Extreme Conference and the Florida Wave in the Universal Conference. Second down and about 8 here for the Knights of Central Florida. Wide doubles as they'll hand it off to Ben once more, and he gets hammered out of bounds by Antoine Fuller.
Tackled out of bounds at the 45-yard line.
Gain of about 4 on the play. So third down and 6 here for the Knights of Central Florida. They need to get to the Wave 39. Actually, no, I guess they're going to mark it at the 47, as there was no gain on the play. So it looked like they had it one way, then it went back the other way. So no gain on the play. So Rashard Hendricks will take it himself up the middle, and he'll run into a wall right around the 45. This will bring up fourth down for the Knights of Central Florida.
Hendricks on the carry. Tackled by number 17.
Again, we got the chance to talk to Coach Dwight Gifford of this Knights of Central Florida squad, head coach. He said the biggest difference between last week's victory and the 2 games that they lost was they fought for each other and were disciplined. Trying to get some more of that here, as that's not going to be the right direction, as that's a fourth down sack back at the Knights of Central Florida 41. Xavier Robinson comes in and plays demolition. And the Wave will have great starting field position for their first drive of the second half.
10 for the Wave on the Knights' 41-yard line.
So a turnover on downs for the Knights of Central Florida. And the Wave, who got that 74-yard kick return touchdown at the end of the half, have a chance to take their first lead since the first quarter. This time, McNeil picks up a couple. Ball Ball up to the 39-yard line, second and about 8.
Big deal on the carry. Tackled by Rasheed Black.
And McNeil has had the first touchdown of the game for either team. Had a 6-yard rush, and that was their first drive of the game. Since then, it's been punt, and kick return TD. So the Wave have a offensive touchdown and a special teams touchdown. Knights of Central Florida have 2 offensive touchdowns. This time handed off to Deshaun Brown. Brown gets about 1 to 2 yards here. We'll see where they spot it. As we're going to get a stoppage of play. Officials timeout for an injury. That is number 59 of Samitrius Clark, the offensive guard who was slow to get up. So he'll jog his way back to the sideline. The help of one of his teammates. So 3rd and long here for the Florida Wave. Under 11 minutes to play here in the 3rd quarter. So 2 running backs in the backfield. This will be taken here by Williams. In trouble, trying to shake a defender. Swallowed up, down back in Wave territory. Sack is made by number 54 of Jermaine Jackson.
Sack on the play by number 54, Jermaine Jackson.
So after the Wave started in excellent field position, the Knights of Central Florida said, yeah, try again.
4th down for the Wave.
So the Wave will wisely send their punter out, Santiago Tovar.
Tovar on the punt.
2 deep men here for the Knights of Central Florida. So 4th down from the Wave 49. Again, if they would have gotten to the 31 of the Knights, that would have been a 1st down. However, Tovar punts this away. And that'll be spotted at looks to be the 17-yard line.
Tovar's punt.
So it's about a 34-yard punt for Tovar. So both drives for either team stalling. Knights of Central Florida had a turnover on downs, and the Wave came out for their 3rd punt of the game. So now the Knights of Central Florida will get a 2nd drive here in the 2nd half. 9:21 to play here in the 3rd quarter. 2 receivers out to the left, 1 to the right. This will be handed off. Penalty marker is down. It's probably going to be for holding. We'll get you confirmed, as that was Rashard Hickman on the run. And it's going to be,
Rashard Hickman on the carry.
Looks like it's going to be illegal formation, I believe, because they let the play go. So I believe it's illegal formation. Because the hand signal for formation and false start is the same. But
First down.
back him up 5, replay 1st down here for the Knights of Central Florida. And if you were tuning into the Masters earlier, congratulations to Rory McIlroy. Became the first golfer since Tiger Woods in 2001, 2002 to win back-to-back Masters. Hard to believe it's been that long. And it's another false start
False start called against
on the Knights of Central Florida, so they're going the wrong direction. It's like in golf, when you hit too many bogeys, that's where you go the wrong direction. Well, in football, if you get too many false starts, you're going in the wrong direction. But all jokes aside, Knights of Central Florida feel like they left points out on the field. Heard Coach Dwight Gifford mentioning to his team, hey, there should be 30 points on that scoreboard. But there's too many mistakes here for this Knights of Central Florida squad that has kept this at a 2-point game. And they thought they had the advantage going into halftime. And then, as we said, 74-yard kick return touchdown to end the first half. And not too much there on that play, as that looked to be Jalen Ben on the run there. Or correction, that was Hickman, number 25. So second and long here for the Knights of Central Florida. And beautiful day for some football, a little windy here in Winter Garden. But currently 73 degrees outside. Clear skies. Lights are on. And Hickman once more gets it up past the 10, up to about the 12.
Hickman on the carry.
But third and long here for the Knights of Central Florida.
Third down and long for the
In the Wave, sporting a 3-game winning streak. Coming to this game 4-2 on the year. Knights of Central Florida 5-2. Started 4-0 this season. Lost 2 straight and then got back into the win column after they defeated the Gulf Coast Sun Devils. So receiver out left to the right. Another marker is down. This is going to be, it looks like, on the defense. So offsides, defense. Move it up 5 yards for the Knights of Central Florida. So that'll make this about 3rd and 9. So what was forever away is now very much manageable here for the Knights of Central Florida. 3rd down and 9. 7 minutes to play here in the third quarter. Deep pass down the left side, and a flag is out. The Wave defense can't believe it.
Penalty flag on the play.
Looks like they were trying to go down towards KJ Thompson. But it looks like the Knights of Central Florida are going to get the benefit of a defensive penalty. And the judge closest to the Knights of Central Florida bench was motioning, hey, his jersey was getting tugged on. So if nothing else, it's going to be defensive holding. As some words are being exchanged between the offensive line and defensive line, as it will be defensive holding on the Florida Wave. So after all that, it's 1st and 10, Knights of Central Florida. And the ball is at the 33-yard line. Under 6:30 to play here in the third quarter. And quick handoff there to think that's Mario Johnson that took the handoff there.
Mario Johnson on the carry.
It is Mario Johnson with the handoff. Normally see him in the passing game.
Tackled by 24, Harden. No gain on the play.
As
Second
Jamil
down, 10.
Harden makes the tackle for the Wave. It's like about a loss of a yard on the play. Ball is at the 32-yard line for the Knights of Central Florida. This will be quarterback carry by Rashard Hendricks. Flips it back the other way. Has enough for a first down and is run out of bounds at the 47.
Rashard Hendricks on the carry.
Stopping the progress was Michael Clark Jr., number 18. And that's another Knights of Central Florida first down.
First and 10 for the Knights on their own 47-yard line.
So the Wave looked like they had figured out the run game of this Knights of Central Florida offense. And then Rashard Hendricks said, nice try. Watch this. So trips out right, single receiver to the left. He'll hand it off to Mario Johnson. He'll pick up about, I want to say 4 up to the Wave 49.
Johnson on the carry. Across midfield. The 49-yard
4:40 to play here in this third quarter.
Second down for the Knights.
So second down and about 6 here for the Knights of Central Florida. Wide doubles. Mario Johnson in the backfield with Rashard Hendricks. Hendricks takes it himself. Skipped out of a tackle, but brought down from behind there
Hendricks
by
on the carry.
Xavier Robinson.
By Robinson.
So it's bringing about third down from the Wave 48. They need the 44, or check that, 43 for a first down. So 3rd and 5 here for the Knights of Central Florida.
For the Knights.
And wide doubles again for the Knights of Central Florida. In trouble is the quarterback, and he'll sail his receiver. Was looking for Courtney Keith along the Wave sideline.
Brings up 4th down for the Knights.
And it's 4th and 5. So 3:25 to play here in the third, and the Knights of Central Florida are going to go for it here. They need the 43. They're at the 48. Mario Johnson in the backfield with Rashard Hendricks, and we've got a penalty marker down, and it's going to be
Penalty flag.
offsides on the defense.
Offsides called against the defense.
A little too much quick feet on that Wave defense, and the drive will continue for the Knights of Central Florida.
That'll be enough for the Knights. First down.
They needed 5, and they got 5 by virtue of that penalty. The Knights have not surrendered the lead since they took it in the first quarter. Mario Johnson zigzagging his way up to the 36.
Mario Johnson on the carry.
This will bring up, should bring up about 3rd down here, I believe.
Ball spotted at the 37-yard line.
Or 2nd down. So ball is at the 37-yard line. They need the 33. 2nd and 4. Wide doubles here for the Knights of Central Florida. Mario Johnson cutting it to the right, and he'll get spun down by a couple Wave defenders.
Johnson on the carry.
That was Jordan Lewis.
Tackled by number 13, Lewis.
And this will bring up, should bring up third down and 1 here for the Knights. Under 2 minutes to play here in the third quarter. And it looks like we've got an injured player down. So an injured player is down for the Knights of Central Florida. We'll take a quick break here on Varsity Sports Nation. 15-13 is your score. Knights of Central Florida trying to add to their lead. We'll be right back. Out of the injury timeout between the Knights of Central Florida and the Florida Wave. 1:52 to go here in this third quarter. And QB keeper goes nowhere as Xavier Robinson brings down Hendricks. So from a 3rd and 1 to now a 4th and 8 for the Knights of Central Florida. Talk about going backwards. So both offenses have been stalling here in this second half. Knights of Central Florida will keep their offense on the field. 2 receivers each side. Hendricks back to pass. Throws it across, has a man down there. And that'll be enough for a first down. Courtney Keith. Perfect place at the perfect time. So back-to-back 4th downs. One, they got the first by an offsides penalty this time off a simple pass and catch. This time handed off to Johnson. And he runs into a wall of Wave players.
Mario Johnson on the carry.
And on the tackle there was Deshaun Brown for the Wave. And that looks like it might be the last play of the third quarter.
Ball spotted on the 29-yard line, gain of 1.
So ball is at the 29. It'll be 2nd and 9 when we come back here on Varsity Sports Nation. We've seen 3 quarters. We've got 1 to go. 15-13, Knights of Central Florida over the Florida Wave. We're still not done. We'll be right back here on Varsity Sports Nation. Welcome back to Varsity Sports Nation. Fourth quarter is upon us between the Knights of Central Florida and the Florida Wave. My name is Conrad Volch. It's been a fun game. We still got 15 more game time minutes to go as the Knights of Central Florida start off with a quick rush.
Mario Johnson on the carry.
And we got some penalty markers on the field. Mario Johnson on the carry for the Knights of Central Florida. Wondering if it's penalty on the offense, and it will be. It's a holding call on the offense. So Johnson.
Unsportsmanlike penalty call against
Oh, no.
Williams.
Actually, no, unsportsmanlike.
15-yard penalty.
Mario Johnson. I'm wondering if there was an ejection that just happened because Mario Johnson came off the field and slammed his helmet.
39-yard line.
So he is walking towards the farther end zone as they switched to Rashard Hickman is now in the backfield for the Knights of Central Florida. So not sure what was said or what happened at the conclusion of that play, but Mario Johnson looks to be done for the evening. And the ball's on the ground. See who gets it. The Wave think they got it, and they do.
Fumble on the play, recovered by
Wow. Dominic Sori comes flying in to swallow up the football for the Florida Wave. So the disaster continuing here for the Knights of Central Florida. They lost one of their powerful guys on offense. And now they've turned the ball over. And the Wave have a chance to put a drive together. So Dominic Sori on the fumble recovery for the Florida Wave. And the Wave will set up shop from their own 45. Williams and McNeil in the backfield. As McNeil gets up to the 46. And taking a huge shot in that backfield was Nazavius Williams, the quarterback for the Florida Wave. He was slow to get up. But he is up and surrounded by his teammates. So it looked like because there was no athletic trainers that came out onto the field or coaches, Williams is able to stay in the game here for the Florida Wave. Williams, a little bit of a missed handoff there. He'll take it himself, throws it across the middle. Oh, he had a man at the 40, just a tad bit high. That was Demir Sori Blakely that he was looking for there. Actually, check that. That might have been Victor Rentas, number 6. So 3rd down and 9 here for the Florida Wave. Clock stops with 13:23 to play. So the Florida Wave need the opposite 45-yard line for a first down. Ball is at their 46. Williams back to pass, rolling to his right. Looks like he's going to pull it. He gets to the 50 And we'll see where they mark it. It's going to be close. They're going to spot it at the Knights of Central Florida. Looks like maybe the 47. Yes, the 47. So 4th and 2 coming up for the Florida Wave. Knights of Central Florida trying to get organized on defense here. Florida Wave need the 45. They are standing at the 47. Off of a huge run there by Nazavius Williams. This Florida Wave offense has not found pay dirt since their first drive of the game in the first quarter. Williams hands it off. McNeil up the middle to the 40, down to the 38. They needed 2. They got about 7. Zamir McNeil has been one of the go-to guys in the run game for the Wave for a majority of this game. And it looked like the Knights of Central Florida defense was selling out for a Nazavius Williams run, and late handoff prevented that from happening. This time, this will be carried by the man who had the kick return touchdown, Quentin Souter. Runs it up. Healthy gain on the play. Looks like he got about 6 yards. Brings up 2nd and 4 here for the Florida Wave.
2nd down and 4. Ball spotted on the 32-yard line.
This time handed off to number 26 of Ty Stevens. And that ball's on the ground. It's fumbled. So the Knights of Central Florida defense comes up big. That's number 0. I believe that's Willie Jenkins on that.
1st and 10 for the Knights on their own 29-yard line.
So a big turnover by the Wave offense. So we stay at 15-13. 10:09 to play here in the 4th quarter. Just when you think the game's going to go one way, it goes another way. But that's why we love sports. They'll hand the ball off. I believe that was Rashard Hickman on the carry.
Rashard Hickman on the carry.
Again, there looks like he's going to be the go-to running back for this Knights of Central Florida offense going forward. Again, saw Mario Johnson exit the field earlier. We do believe he was ejected.
4 on the carry, 2nd down and 6.
So 4-yard carry for number 25. Shard Hendricks hands it to him again. This time, no fooling the Wave defense. There's 3 defenders come in there, led by Antoine Fuller. And this is, for the most part, been a defensive war of a game. And the Knights of Central Florida team has been known for their defense all season long. but they have stifled this Florida Wave offense. Florida Wave had outscored their last 3 opponents 142-21. Last points they had given up was all the way back on Saturday, March 14th against the Inverness Venom. In the game, they won 69-21. That's a quick pass along the sideline. And that's caught by Courtney Keith with another big catch. He had a 4th down catch last drive. And he gets a 3rd down catch this drive, and quickly being corralled there by his teammate, Jakevion Caldwell.
1st and 10 for the Knights on their 44-yard line.
But the last loss for this Florida Wave roster was against the Tampa Bay Tigers back on March 1st, a 20-14 close one. Trying to make it 4 in a row here on the season to move to 5-2 as the Knights of Central Florida trying to move to 6-2. As that was run there by Jakevion Caldwell.
Jakevion Caldwell on the carry.
That was tackle made there by Wilfredo Justiniano, number 25. No gain on the play. 2nd and 10 here for the Knights of Central Florida. 7:30 to play here in the 4th quarter. Run-heavy offenses going at it in this game. Seen some deep passes, but mostly runs. Another handoff to Caldwell. It's between Caldwell and Hickman here in this 4th quarter.
Caldwell on the carry, tackled by Harding.
And the only team left that's undefeated is the Georgia Cobras in the Universal Conference. They stand at 7-0 on the year.
6-yard line.
Florida Rhinos on the top of the Extreme Conference. They stand at 6-1.
3rd down and 8 for the Knights.
3rd down and 8 here for the Knights of Central Florida. Hendricks loads it. Caught! It's caught right around the 32 by KJ Thompson.
Pass is complete to Kenyatta Thompson for Knights. 1st down.
And we've got a Florida Wave player on the ground. But what a play by the quarterback, Rashard Hendricks. KJ Thompson had the first touchdown grab of the day for the Knights of Central Florida. We'll take a quick break here on Varsity Sports Nation. Injury timeout here. Florida Wave player is down. We'll be right back. Back in action here in the 4th quarter, 6:22 and counting here in the 4th quarter. Injured Wave player gets up and is helped to the sideline under his own power. And this will be carried by Rashard Hickman for the Knights of Central Florida offense. And honestly, for this Knights of Central Florida offense, they've just been burning clock in the 2nd half. We have not seen a score by either team in this 2nd half. And if you're the Knights of Central Florida, do what's gotten you the success in this game. Run the ball and bleed that clock. Now, if you're the Florida Wave, got to start thinking about when you're going to use those timeouts. You've got all 3 timeouts. And both of these teams have all 3 of their timeouts. Got to start thinking when you're going to use them. Run up the middle there by Hickman. He makes it up to about the 25-yard line. So bring up 3rd down for the Knights of Central Florida.
Hickman on the carry. Tackle by Harding.
So the line to gain is about the 22-yard line. So this brings up 3rd and 3 for the Knights of Central Florida. Under 5 minutes remaining here in the fourth quarter. And they got the defense to move, it looks like. We'll see what the official call is. Both teams pointing at each other. And they're going to say it's an offsides on the defense. At least that's what the initial word is by the white hat. And it is an offsides. So the drive will continue here for the Knights of Central Florida. Again, if you're the Florida Wave and Coach Safari McElroy, you got to start wondering, when are they going to start thinking about using those timeouts? You've got all 3 timeouts with under 4:30 remaining here in the fourth. You've also got the 2-minute warning as well. But if you're the Knights of Central Florida, keep running and burn that clock. As Rashard Hickman slips out of a tackle. That was Victor Rentas, who was the first man there.
Gain of 2 yards.
So instead of a loss of 1, it's a gain of 2 for the Knights of Central Florida offense. And Knights of Central Florida, to the surprise of no one, are in no hurry. And right on cue, that's those timeouts I was talking about. Safari McElroy will go into his back pocket and say, well, might as well call a timeout here, and they will. So they'll have 2 remaining. Clock stops, 3:42 left here in the fourth quarter here on Varsity Sports Nation. We'll take a quick one and bring you the action when we return. We're back here in the fourth quarter out of the Florida Wave timeout, 3:42 to play. Wave have 2 timeouts remaining and the 2-minute warning. Knights of Central Florida have all 3 of theirs remaining. Rashard Hendricks still in at quarterback. He'll take it himself, running around the left, trying to stretch it forward. He's going to be short. See where they spot it. They needed about the 10, and it looks like we have a timeout. No, excuse me, it's an injury timeout. That was number 17 on the defense there for the Florida Wave. So no charge timeout for the Florida Wave. So now the clock will roll. Under 3:25 to play. This will be a 3rd and short. 3rd and I'd say about 2 yards here for the Knights of Central Florida. Up by 2. They've been up by 2 and were up by as much as 9, but have not surrendered the lead since they scored their first touchdown and converted the 2-point conversion to make it 8-6. Hendricks rolls to his left, and he'll get across the 10 for a first down. Looks like they might spot it around potentially the 9. And we'll give officially where it stops, or where they spot it, excuse me. And it is the 9. They needed the 10. They got the 9. So 1st and goal from the 9-yard line, and clock continues to tick. Again, the question was, when were the Wave going to call a timeout? They finally did. And now the Knights of Central Florida, they still got to force the Wave to burn their final 2 timeouts, and there goes one of them, I think. Or maybe not. Saw the referee wave his arms, but guess there was no timeout. Hendricks spinning, falling backwards forward. Looks like he's going to be tackled for a yard loss at the 10, and they'll stop the clock for the 2-minute warning. So 2-minute warning is upon us here in the 4th quarter. Knights of Central Florida have possessed the ball for a long time in the second half. We'll take a quick break. When we return, final 2 minutes of game time action between the visiting Florida Wave and the Knights of Central Florida. Welcome back to Varsity Sports Nation out of the 2-minute warning. And the Knights of Central Florida will pass it here. Interesting decision. So they tried to throw it to KJ Thompson in the end zone. And we heard the dialogue from the sideline. They looked like they were trying to go to Courtney Keith. So interesting decision there by the Knights of Central Florida. So because they threw it, that'll stop the clock with 1:54 to go. And the Florida Wave still can keep those 2 timeouts in their pocket. So now it's 3rd and goal for the Knights of Central Florida. Florida Wave trying to give themselves a chance. They've got a field goal kicker. All they need is 3 to win it should they keep him out of the end zone. This is a run by Hendricks. And he'll make it up to about the 4-yard line, and that'll be 4th down. And there's a timeout called by the Wave. So the Wave will call their 2nd timeout of the second half. Clock will stop with 1:41 to play here in this 4th quarter. We'll stay with you. But, I mean, the theme of the first half, I can say confidently, first drive for either team, so first 2 combined drives, both resulted in touchdowns. And you're sitting there thinking, man, this is going to be a scoring frenzy. Well, then it was 8-6 for a majority of that first half until basically the last less than a minute of that first half, because literally the Knights of Central Florida put the ball in the end zone with 13.6 seconds to play, and then on the ensuing kickoff, the Florida Wave ran it 74 yards back the other direction off the legs of Quentin Sawyer. And that is why we sit at 15-13. No scores in this second half. Rashard Hendricks under center. Rolls to his left, running away, still alive, and will be spun into a mess of Wave defenders. Wow. Okay. How about that? That was on 4th down.
No flag on the play. Turnover on down.
Minute 32 to play here in this 4th quarter. So now the Wave. They will set up from the 5-yard line.
First and 10.
They've got a minute 32 and a timeout to work with. Again, they've got a guy that can kick it in Santiago Tovar. See if they can get into his range for a potential victory here. In the closest victory, the Florida Wave have played in some close games. They fell to the Dunedin Highlanders 9-8 back on February 21st. And the Tampa Bay Tigers 20-14. That's been the close games that they've been in. They won their first game of the year against the Florida Cougars 22-6.
False start called against the
And that's not what you want to see to start the drive. That's going to be a false start on the Wave. So half the distance to the goal, replay first down. So the drive will be even longer. So first down and about 12 here for the Florida Wave. In minute 32 to play with and a timeout. Knights of Central Florida have all 3 of theirs. 15-13 is your score. Quick pass down to the sideline. And that receiver will be... Man, I thought, wow, I must have handed the ball off after the fact. I think that was...
First down for the Wave.
That was number 26 that finished with the football, Ty Stevens.
12-yard line.
So off some...
Correction, 17-yard line.
So ball is spotted at the 17-yard line. Williams rolling to his right. Throws it, and too low for his receiver.
Williams' pass is incomplete.
Looking for a man right around the 25-yard line. So the clock will stop with a minute 16 to play. So it looks like the Wave are going to put 4 receivers down on the left, nobody on the right. Xavier Williams. And there's going to be a penalty marker down. False start on the Wave, so they're going to go backwards. So back it up 5.
Brings up second down and 15.
Make it 2nd and 15. So the Florida Wave need the 26-yard line for a first. Xavier Williams. Back to pass. In trouble. Trying to run away. Throws it. And his receiver dropped it. He kind of slipped and fell. And was going to have to sort of make a circus catch anyway. Was going to be short of a first down anyway. So this brings up 3rd down and 15 for the Florida Wave. Minute 10 seconds to play here in this 4th quarter. Knights of Central Florida trying to hang on. Minute 10 on the clock. Wide doubles here for the Florida Wave. Williams back to pass. Goes up the middle, slips. And he's down back at the 9. 4th down.
Williams down by contact.
And we're going to have a timeout called. See which side they point to. Yeah, it's going to be the 3rd and final timeout for the Florida Wave. They are out of timeouts. They'll have a quick conversation. 4th and about 17 when we return here on Varsity Sports Nation. Welcome back to Varsity Sports Nation. Do or die here for the Florida Wave. 4th and 17 from the 9. Williams back to pass. And it's incomplete. Looking for Zamir McNeil. And that'll be a turnover on downs for the Florida Wave. So the Knights will take over from the Wave 9. 48 seconds to go. The Wave can only stop it once. So we might see one stoppage of clock, but if you're the Knights of Central Florida, 1, maybe 2 knees, and you take home a victory.
1st and 10 for the Knights.
But as we've seen in the world of sports, crazy things can happen. So the Knights of Central Florida lined up in victory formation. They'll take a knee. And I think they might take one more. And it looks like they might have to, but we'll update you as we find out. And it looks like that's going to be the final snap of the game. Both teams starting to line up at the 50 to go shake hands. Down to 5 seconds. Down to 3, 2, 1. And it's official. The Knights of Central Florida hang on to win against the Florida Wave by a score of 15-13. How about that? It wasn't pretty, but they got it done. The Knights of Central Florida moved to 6-2 on the season. The Florida Waves' 3-game winning streak is snapped. They fall to 4-3. What a game. And the difference in this game is the fact that the Knights of Central Florida went for it on the 2-point conversion after the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, and they threw it to Calvin Brown Jr., and that's why they won by 2. No scores in the entire second half, and it looked like it was going to be something else, but it wasn't. But that's why we love sports, because we love it, we hate it, and it makes no sense all at the same time, but that's why we love it. Well, the extreme side of the conference defeated the universal side as the Knights of Central Florida take down the Florida Wave by a score of 15-13. Looking ahead on the schedule, the Florida Wave are scheduled to take on the Inverness Venom. That'll be a universal matchup on April 18th at Campbell's Park. And the Knights of Central Florida are slated to take on the Florida Rhinos in an extreme matchup out at East Ridge High School. Well, that'll do it for us here at Varsity Sports Nation. Thank you for tuning in. It's been a fun one. My name is Conrad Volch, and that will do it for us here at West Orange High School at Raymond Screws Field in Winter Garden, Florida. Have a great night and catch up on some sports highlights wherever you are, and we'll see you at the next UFLX game coming up next week.
Varsity Sports Nation. Unleash the champion within.